what now? Maria just confirmed that both her mother, Patricia, and her sister, Alison, tragically passed away on the same day. I know, right? It's like a plot twist straight out of a soap opera, but unfortunately, this is real life. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's rewind a bit. Just the other day, Alison was out here talking about how she was struggling, saying she didn't even have money to fix her teeth. Talk about a cry for help.
I'm Alison Carey. Unfortunately, I'm living without teeth. I haven't been able to replace them. I wish I could replace them. But I just don't have the money. So this is where I stand. It's almost impossible to get things done without teeth. That's all I really have to say.
Now, given the rocky relationship between Maria and her family, some folks out there are throwing around wild theories. Some are even saying Maria might have sacrificed both her mother and sister. I know, it's crazy talk, but that's the kind of nonsense floating around the internet these days. Let's get into the facts, shall we? Maria spilled the tea to People magazine, confirming the double tragedy. She said, "My heart is broken that I've lost my mother this past weekend. Sadly, in a tragic turn of events, my sister lost her life on the same day. Can you imagine the emotional roller coaster she must be on?" Maria added, "I feel blessed that I was able to spend the last week with my mom before she passed. I appreciate everyone's love and support and respect for my privacy during this impossible time." Now that's a classy way to handle such a devastating situation. For those of you who don't know the backstory, Patricia was a Juilliard-trained opera singer and vocal coach. She was married to Alfred Roy Carey, and they had 3 kids, Alison, Maria, and Morgan. But here's where it gets messy. They divorced when Maria was just a toddler, and things were never the same after that. Maria's relationship with her mom was complicated, to say the least. In her memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey, she spilled all the tea. She wrote, "Like many aspects of my life, my journey with my mother has been full of contradictions and competing realities. It's never been only black and white, it's been a whole rainbow of emotions." She added, "Our relationship is a prickly rope of pride, pain, shame, gratitude, jealousy, admiration, and disappointment. A complicated love tethers my heart to my mother. I mean, who can't relate to some family drama, am I right?" Despite all the ups and downs, Maria and Patricia did have some good moments. Back in 2010, they even performed a Christmas duet together on ABC. And Maria dedicated her memoir to her mom, writing, "And to Pat, my mother, who, through it all, I do believe actually did the best she could. I will love you the best I can, always." But when it comes to her siblings, especially Alison, that's where things get real messy. Maria's never been shy about airing out that dirty laundry.
I love my sister. And she's broken my heart so many times.
In an interview with Vulture, Maria didn't hold back. She said, "Here's the thing. They have been ruthlessly, just heartless in terms of dealing with me as a human being for most of my life. I never would have spoken about my family at all had they not done it first." When asked if she ever saw them reconciling, Maria was like, "I have forgiveness in my heart, and so I forgive them. But I am not trying to invite anybody to come hang out over here. I think they're very broken, and I feel sad for them." Now, here's where it gets juicy. Maria's always felt like her siblings treated her like an ATM machine. Just because she's the famous, successful one, they felt entitled to her money. Can you believe the audacity? So, Maria did what any self-respecting diva would do. She cut them off. Alison apparently didn't take too kindly to this. She's been out here saying she couldn't believe Maria would let her suffer while living in the lap of luxury. She even said if the roles were reversed, she'd never let Maria sleep on the streets.
I'm sure a lot of people just don't believe that something like that could happen to Mariah Carey's sister. It's hard to imagine. I'll tell you what, I would never let someone that I had ever loved be in a position where they could be sleeping in the street, and I never tried to help them in any way. I can't even imagine it, and I don't think anyone else can either.
But Maria's got a different story to tell. According to her, her siblings, especially Alison, treated her like trash. She says they've been attacking her for decades, selling stories to any gossip rag that would listen. Maria even claimed Alison once offered her a pinky nail full of cocaine. Like, who does that? Maria's so done with her siblings that she says she doesn't even understand why they talk about her at all. As far as she's concerned, they didn't even grow up together.
We don't even really know each other. And that's the thing, when they were out there and telling and selling stories, I'm like, but you guys, we didn't grow up together, but we did. Like, they were on their journeys. By the time I got into the world, they had already been damaged, in my opinion. But again, I wasn't there. I was dropped into this world, and I said, I literally felt like an outsider amongst my own family. An outsider amongst my own family.
Now, you might be wondering, why all this family drama? Well, Maria's got a theory. She says it's partly because she's always been lighter-skinned, so her siblings thought she could pass. Plus, they felt like Maria had an easier life than they did.
And two, they always felt like Mariah lived an easier life than they did.
I think they definitely always felt like I was passing. We're not even that far apart tonally. Like, that's my thing. They just grew up with the experience of living with a black father and a white mother together as a family. And I was, for the most part, living with my mother, which they saw as easier, but in reality, it was not. To them, it was easier, and I think, you know, there's many reasons why, but they have always thought that my life was easy, but they also always looked for I don't know what the name of it is, but it's like a get-rich-quick scheme, or like, what can we do for today? Or like, the world owes.
In her memoir, Maria really spilled the tea on her relationship with Alison. She called her sister deeply wounded and the most brilliant and broken person she's ever known. But then she dropped some real bombshells, y'all. Maria claimed that when she was just 12 years old, her 20-year-old sister exposed her to drugs and older men. She even said Alison left her alone with a boyfriend who started hitting on her. Can you imagine? That's some seriously messed up stuff. There have been stories about Alison struggling with addiction and prostitution, which Maria touched on in her book. Alison's never denied the addiction part. She even sought treatment, but she says she never sold her body for cash.
I've never said that I was involved in prostitution. It's a crime. Okay, as far as any money that I had, it was because I'm on SSI. What do they give me, less than $700 a month? It was in my pocket. You know, I'm on food stamps. That's how I eat.
But wait, it gets worse. Maria wrote about a time when Alison threw boiling hot tea on her, leaving her with third-degree burns. She wrote, "She burned my back and my trust. Any faint hope I'd held up to that point of having a big sister became scorched earth." Maria didn't hold back, adding, "Alison has burned me in many ways and more times than I can count. The promise of her life was squandered in a tragic series of cheap bargains rather than being redeemed through the difficult lifelong work of recovery and rebuilding oneself."
I don't know, how would you describe your sister?
I would say troubled. I would say traumatized. And I try to be thoughtful about that. Although I don't know that the same courtesy has been extended to me from anybody that that caused certain traumatic events in my life.
Now, you'd think that'd be the end of it, right? Wrong. After Maria's book came out, Alison sued her for $1.25 million. She claimed Maria's book caused her immense emotional distress and called it a heartless, vicious, vindictive, despicable, and totally unnecessary public humiliation. Alison said Maria used her status as a public figure to attack her penniless sister, all to generate headlines and sell more books. She claimed the allegations in the book left her severely depressed and struggling to control her addiction. But here's where it gets really wild. Alison says a lot of what Maria wrote is straight up false. She even claimed their mother forced her to attend terrifying middle-of-the-night satanic worship meetings when she was a preteen. I'm talking ritual sacrifices, people in black robes, the whole 9 yards. I mean, is this real life or a horror movie? Alison's not the only one with beef, though. Maria's brother, Morgan, also filed a lawsuit calling Maria's account of their lives delusional. He even threatened to reveal the truth that would leave Maria and her publishers embarrassed and exposed. Talk about family drama. Now, with Alison and their mother passing away on the same day, people are side-eyeing Maria. Some folks are saying she shouldn't pretend to be devastated since she cut her family off. They're giving her a pass for her mom, but not for her sister, who apparently tried to reconcile. Remember when Maria had her twins? Alison said she wanted to patch things up and meet her niece and nephew. She said, "I cannot put into words how moved I was to see pictures of my niece and nephew for the first time. I just wish Maria would let me be a sister again and a proper auntie to her children." Alison even claimed she reached out to Maria when a doctor told her she had liver cancer and only 4 months to live. According to Alison, a relative said Maria wanted to reconcile and would pay for her treatment, but she never heard from her sister directly.
And I figured, okay, he's here to rob me. He wants my jewelry. If I give it to him, he'll leave. But that's not what happened. After I gave him every last thing that I had, he picked me up and threw me down a flight of stairs. I went like in the air down my stairs from the second floor. And when I got to the bottom, and I was from everywhere, mainly I had a lot of breaks in my skull, he started in the back of the head with a bat. All right, he was absolutely trying to.
So here we are, 2 tragic deaths on the same day, years of family drama, and a whole lot of unanswered questions. It's a lot to process, y'all. What do you think about all this? How do you think Maria's handling the loss of both her mother and sister on the same day? And what about Morgan? How's he dealing with all this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I'm dying to know what y'all think about this family saga. Remember, family drama is never easy, especially when you're in the public eye. Let's send some positive vibes Maria's way because no matter what went down in the past, losing 2 family members in one day is rough. That's all for now, my tea spilling squad. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on the latest celebrity drama. This is Hot Gossip signing off. Stay messy, my friends. Goodbye.